Thank you so much. All that are joining as we talk today, remember that this stream is public. Keep it secret, keep it safe. Shout out Lord of the Rings. Don't say anything that you wouldn't say in public. Okay, great. Thanks all. Support group conversation. We have the key review deck linked. We have the key review discussion linked. Please feel free to put any questions, things, thoughts on the agenda. We can talk through them. There is a handful of support folks in the room as well. So support folks, you know that you can speak up if you have something relevant that you'd like to share. Managers, I may call on you. Engineers, I won't call on you. First 2 bullet points to give you some time to write in the doc. Highlight. There's a process we have right now called needs.org. Somebody contacts us. We don't know if they're a customer or not. So we ask them, prove it, show us your badge. And they do. And then we say, great, you're a customer. We're changing that process. This should actually make a better experience because then we know who's allowed in and who can get support. But in that change, that's a change in process. So if you're in sales, if you're in customer success, go tell your friends, go let them know this is happening. This is something. We hope it to be good, but there could be challenge. So I just want to bring that up. If there are any questions about that, we can take a second to dive in. And if not, in the agenda, there's a bunch of resources that you can click through and talk about and tell your friends. And please, like, this is like when Windows asks you, like, would you tell your friend about this operating? This is the time. Like, you got to go tell your friends about this one. Like, this is the time, you know, so please do.
I do have one quick question, and I'll write it in the doc afterwards. I'm just wondering how this will impact customers that have multiple subscriptions and maybe up to like 10 subscriptions. And essentially, then we're limiting them. We're kind of limiting the number of contacts they can have per subscription and penalizing them over organizations that have more of a free-for-all. Has any thought been given into how we deal with those more complex, larger accounts?
Yeah, historically, this has always been the case. The 30 user limit has been in existence for years at this point. We've historically always done Salesforce account to org as the sync mechanism. That decision was made 7+ years ago, and it's one of those of, should we change it? Maybe, but that's not that's a multi-year project if it is one that we want to go through. We have genuinely recommended separating out Salesforce accounts to have these subsidiaries separated. We do have some customers that started with, well, we've got 20 subscriptions and it becomes a nightmare for renewals. We've genuinely recommended separating those out just to make renewals easier. It also ensures they have a new org, they can have 30 contacts for that org. There's also always like the workarounds of shared emails and using CCs and stuff like that that is still viable and workable. But yeah, the accounts we have that have multiple, like 10 subscriptions to one, it tends to not work great for anyone involved. Support, sales, customer, just we do tend to try to recommend separating those out a bit. But yeah.
To summarize that, I think the most important thing is, and Jason and Lyle, correct me if I'm wrong, right now, if you have an email, right now, it's associated to one organization. Is that correct?
Correct. So there's not really a way to do one email to multiple orgs.
Right. With that's not changing. So if this is a large problem that we have many larger customers that are running into that already, then we could talk and try to understand if there's a different solution. But as Jason said, probably the best solution right now is a shared email or a catch-all CC to get that blast out to a customer that has users across multiple subscriptions that need to contact us. But we could take that offline to talk more intricacies. But the summation is one email address gets associated with one Zendesk organization. We don't have the capability right now to have one email address associated with multiple, and that's not changing. So just wanted to summarize that, but good call out. I'll pause here. Other questions around getting rid of what we call needs.org? Great question, Ove. All right. I'll give a shout out to Jason. Jason's been doing some work with the support operations group to develop what we're calling Wizard. And it's basically 90s internet style. You click the button, it tells you, you go through the menu stack to find the thing. And it's meant to do what the industry calls ticket deflection. But we're focusing on trying to route them to our documentation as much as possible. And if not, the correct support form. And Jason is highlighting 50% of people were like, this really helped and it got them right to the right docs. So expect more on that in the future. Thank you, Jason, Lyle, and co. And there's been a couple of other folks. Renee, I know you were beta testing that and getting involved. Other people who may have been involved, apologies that I forgot, but.
Yeah, huge shout out to UI UX for helping me turn what I developed into something that actually looks good. Because what I developed, like Lee said, looked very much like a 90s website.
Cool. Other questions, thoughts, things you want to know about support, questions you have for us? We've got a handful of support folks that we can talk through stuff.
Will it be anything like Clippy? I miss Clippy.
Would we call it Tanuki and then fold
Yeah,
it like a Tanuki shaped paper clip? We could do this. We're on to something. All right. Oh, if there are no other questions, this is your time. We're here for you. A lot of support people are here. So, but if not, you could find us in Slack. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for the questions you had. Needs.org going away. There's a blog post. Don't be surprised. If you're surprised, I don't know why. Thanks all. Have a great one. Peace.